Can I give my honest opinion about the Genshin shit? I'm feeling annoyed by myself because I keep not saying it. I keep saying it in this like pussy way, and I'm irritating myself. My opinion is that the only people who die hard defend this game, people who don't play other games, children, and people who are new to the game and don't understand what the game is actually like when you get into it. I understand why people like Genshin. I used to like Genshin. Even when I stopped playing Genshin, I remember streaming Pokemon and people being like, oh, Hex, what's your favorite game? And I would go, I hate to say it, but I think it's still Genshin Impact. And I hated the game, but I still loved that game. But I also wanted more. And that is ultimately, I think, at the core of it, because you wanted it to be more and you realized it just was never gonna be that. Subscribe! I think that that feeling is valid and real. Maybe that's just because I feel it. So if you agree with me, then you're more correct. I think it's also valid and real to still enjoy something while understanding its imperfections. But the problem is like, I don't really like the tribal shit because I don't think gacha games really matter that much. I don't think gaming in general matters that much. I love games and it's my life and it's my job. I like gacha games. I love gacha games. It's not that important. There's real shit to be angry over than like, you said my game isn't as good as I think it is. It's silly. It's giving silly to be that upset about something like that. There's like no reason to be this level of upset about games the way that people get over Genshin Impact. And honestly, not to be biased, Wuwa people do this too. Every game, gacha games do this too. Zenless Zone Zero, Wuwa, I see it in every community. Genshin is the worst at it. So let's not act like tribalism doesn't exist other places. It absolutely does. And I know there will be some Wuwa people who come in and go, well, at least we're not Genshin. Yeah, you do the same shit though. It's just a gacha thing. And maybe some games, it just depends on if there's a lot of competition. But it's asinine. This is a game. It's not even a good game. Gacha games aren't good. Gacha games are inherently kind of garbage. Gacha games are inherently slop content. And that's okay. I like slop content. My favorite game right now is Teamfight Tactics. And I'm not going to sit here and not tell you that's not also slop content. That game is ultimately also kind of a gacha game. That's how they monetize TFT. This shit is not that important. But my honest and genuine take about Genshin Impact, I don't give a fuck if you like the game. You are welcome to like the game. Just like you are welcome to not like Wuthering Waves or Zenless Zone Zero or Teamfight Tactics. But the way that people act when you don't act like every gacha game that is like, when you don't say the perfect right thing about their perfect game, it brings out this like heinous, like way of talking about shit. Because it's like, I post a video that's like relatively balanced. Reality is, most of that video is me showing off my account and dicking around with like a little bit of criticism at the end and going like, yeah, I don't think I like it anymore. Or I think I still don't like it. And people act like I have absolutely talked the game and said it was the worst thing that's ever existed. And so like the human response to that is to be like, all right, fuck you. Yeah, that is what I meant. It's the worst game that's ever existed. And I hope anybody that likes it gets bitten by 1,000 billion trillion mosquitoes. Fuck you. And then Genshin players goes, oh, well, is it really so bad for me to like a game? It's like, yes, but that community specifically goes after anybody who ever says anything about the game. So yeah, people don't like your ass, but you can like shit games. Like the first game that I tell this story all the time. The first game that I ever played on Steam, it was the reason I installed Steam onto my laptop at the time, was Honey Pop. To this day, I love Honey Pop. Am I going to sit here and tell you that Honey Pop is a high quality game? Absolute cinema, one of the best ever made? Absolutely the f not. Well, actually I will. It is. However, I also understand what it is. Honey Pop is porn bejeweled. We'll be honest about what that is. I love that game. It's so fucking fun. It's no fucking Elden Ring. So one of my favorite shows is a reality TV show called Temptation Island. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that it's on the same level as Breaking Bad. And if somebody says like, oh, I don't think Temptation Island is really for me, it's kind of brain rot content, it's kind of bad, I'll go, yeah, it is. I like it though, it's fun. But like the way that, and this is, I'm talking to Genshin players because Genshin players are the reason I'm bringing it up. But this happens in all the games, all of the gacha games, and probably a lot of games outside of gacha. Y'all need to grow the fuck up. Anyone defending the QOL and Genshin Impact in the Natlin update is off their fucking gourd. Like, let's just be so entirely for real. The QOL almost entirely is like absolutely dog shit, changes almost nothing about the game. The artifact change with the little artifact synthesizer, whatever the fuck that is, absolute dog shit. They already have a better version of that system in HSR. But Genshin Impact doesn't respect its players, so it gives it a shittier version that takes months to actually make. You get to do it one time every patch. Yeah, maybe you get 2 or 3 from exploration, and maybe you'll get 1 from an event, and maybe you can get 1 from the premium battle pass. It still doesn't guarantee that it's a usable artifact because it could still just full roll into death. That is not a good system. It guarantees you nothing. It is a complete waste of your resources unless you just have a whole bunch of fully leveled level 20 artifacts just lying around to feed to it. I think the world level 9 change would have been great 2 years ago. Honestly, I think they needed to add at least 2 world levels, if not an additional extra one, because so many people who have been playing for a long time have such juiced accounts that an extra world level is not going to add to difficulty in any way that means anything. I think the best change, honestly, in the reality of the situation is the fact that you can skip Archon quests for new and returning players. That doesn't help people that still play the game daily and have for a long time. I've seen so many people say like, oh, well, like it's putting them on the same level of like gacha games in 2024. No, the fuck it is not. That game is still outdated. They need to put more into it. It's not even close. And honestly, it would have been not enough probably 2 years ago too. And it took 4 years and y'all are still glazing. There is a lot of charm to Genshin Impact. I don't have a problem if you like the story. I personally don't like the story, but I've said many times, I don't really give a fuck about the story in gacha games. I like the gameplay. I like that I don't have to log in constantly and play it a ton. And I like that it is something that I can like come into and out of and enjoy. Like, I like that. I like that about gacha games. That's fine. But I don't care about the story. And honestly, I don't know why the fuck you're playing Genshin Impact if you don't like the story, because the traversal in an open world game still sucks ass. The new little like Pokemon jits that you can inhabit to move around more freely. It's super clunky the way that they did it and literally just demonstrates how outdated and old the fucking game is. And most of the QOL improvements for traversal are tied to limited premium characters. That's not good game design, even for a gacha game. It's really good game design if all you're doing is milking your players and you don't respect them and you don't really give a fuck to make a good game. It's great slop design. But locking that amount of QOL for the traversal in an open world gacha game is fucking asinine. And again, the traversal options they add with the little Pokemon jit guys, it's clunky as fuck. And it's not even that much faster. It doesn't actually add that much more like variety or like ease of traversal. It's fine if you want to be respected, if you don't care if you're respected by your game. If you like being disrespected and spit on, hey, different strokes for different folks, Bessie. But literally Hoyoverse will disrespect its player base by not adding the things that the game actually needs to keep up with the current gacha market and simultaneously release games with better versions of that thing. Like, that is absolutely unhinged that you don't feel like you're getting spit in the fucking face when Zenless Zone Zero and HSR are right there with several of the QOLs that Genshin either has done way shittier or realistically, Genshin just straight up doesn't fucking have it. Pretending like adding an extra or really not making you do 2 points on the fate point system, but it's only 1. It's just 1 point on the fate point system, and acting like that makes the weapon banner and Genshin Impact any less of a fucking goddamn scam. You've lost track of reality. Why is it still a combined weapon banner, first of all? And second of all, why don't we just fucking actually let people have a guaranteed weapon banner? You sound like a broken record after having the same take for ages. Who thought Natlin was going to reinvent the game? I am literally talking about changes that were made yesterday. How am I having the same take that I've had before? First of all. And second of all, I've not talked about Genshin and I barely talked about gacha games for months. So if you're going to come in here and bitch like, oh, this is all you've ever done. You come in the second that I'm talking about the thing you want to bitch about, but you ignore all the other shit I've been doing for months. I'm talking about that happened yesterday. How is it the same shit? The same take that Genshin disrespects its players by not adding features. Okay, I counter you with this. Genshin Glazers have the same take that Genshin Impact doesn't disrespect its players. Genshin Impact Glazers still have the same take that Genshin Impact is the best game ever and it needs no changes. They can have the same take over and over and over again, but I can't, since it's the same take, right? It's fine as long as we're defending Genshin Impact then. Is that correct? Yeah, nah, I mean, that's dumb too. Okay, so it seems like you just don't really like the content that I make or that other people make. There's a great thing that you can do, which is like not click in. You don't have to listen to my thoughts, but you're bitching about something that I literally have not talked about in months because it's a current topic again because of Natlin. It makes sense why I'm talking about it if you literally think about it for like more than 2 seconds critically. You know why it's the same concept that's been talked about a million times is because Genshin doesn't change. I cap out at 1.8 seconds, unfortunately. Yeah, fuck yourself. Have a bad day. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I think Zenless Zero is a perfect game. I'm also not going to sit here and act like I think HSR is a perfect game. And I'm also not going to sit here and act like I think Wuthering Waves is the perfect game. Because the reality is that they are all gacha games made by corporations who get into making gacha games very specifically because gacha games make a whole lot of fucking money. That's true for all of these games. But Genshin Impact actively will spit in the face by having QOL and putting in the effort for their other properties while implementing shit years late. It is half-assed as fuck. The vast majority of the changes that were made only benefit newer returning players at best. For long-time players, these changes do almost nothing except for add a world level. But this is exactly like this mindset, right? This mindset where if anybody says it, then they're negative or they're nasty or it's only for views or all of that other shit. That's never like put in the other direction. People who never have anything negative to say, and even if it's their genuine opinion, right? Because I'm not going to sit here and tell people what their genuine feelings or what their genuine intention or their genuine thoughts are, because I understand that that's unknowable and an inarguable concept, right? But there's a bunch of creators that never say anything negative about Genshin Impact. They're never accused of being dishonest, trying to be on a hate train, that they're just haters, that they're negative, or they're overly positive. Like, it's all fine as long as you're positive. People tell me I don't give Genshin a fair chance. Like, I don't know what the game is like. I played a fuckload of that game. I spent a fuckload on that game. There is no fair chance. I have always been very clear about something, and that is that I don't like Genshin Impact. I think Genshin Impact is a slop game, that they've perfected the creation of pretty slop that people will not complain about. At least their primary player base and spender base will not complain about. They have perfected slop. I used to like Genshin Impact a lot, but then it never did anything else. But I've also said, I don't really give a shit if you like Genshin Impact, and that's okay. Just don't be a mint picker about it. You are allowed to like things and also understand why other people might not like it. You are allowed to like things and understand why people might disagree with you. You are allowed to like things and also recognize its imperfections. That's true for everybody and everything. However, man, was I reminded about why I had gone down like an insane tribalism rabbit hole recently. Because I don't really like the tribalism shit. And I got like, it was something that disillusioned me and my content and pissed me off. I was like, man, I don't know how I ended up like going down that path. Like, I feel like that's not really indicative of like who I am as a person. The reason I went down that fucking path is because the community almost forces you to do it. Because if you're not gonna suck on that dick, if you're not gonna slob on that knob, you're a hater. So you might as well be a fucking goddamn hater. And honestly, if the game is so good, you just got a patch that came out. Why are you coming into my stream to bitch? Don't you have stuff to do? Why are you watching YouTube videos and bitching in my comment section? Don't you have stuff to do in your game? Don't you have people that are enjoying the game to go watch? Why are you coming to my shit? Go eat your slop. Go watch somebody else eat their slop. Why are you coming here? You know who I am. When you come into my stream, you know what the fuck I think about Genshin Impact. Anybody being like, oh, she didn't give it a fair shot? Yeah, I've been a Genshin hater since before I was a Genshin hater publicly. I was a Genshin hater playing Pokemon Sword and Shield fighting with people. Deadass, I had fucking 7 viewers fighting a motherfucker about how shit I think Genshin Impact is and Sword and Shield before any of y'all knew me or anybody else knew me. Under 10 average viewers bitching about Genshin. I've been a Genshin hater since before a lot of you even played that fucking game. There's actually a lot of cute shit about Natlin. I really like this character. I like Kachina. I don't care that she cries. She's cute. I like a lot of those characters. I like a lot of the characters that I already have on my account. I still love Hu Tao. Hu Tao was my main reference for my current model. I think the aesthetic of Natlin is actually one of the better aesthetics of any of the other nations in Genshin Impact. Granted, I think it looks very Disney, very much for kids, and it's a little bit overwhelming, but I do like the aesthetic of it. Even if it is like cultural baloney. I liked Genshin. I understand why people like Genshin. Respect other people's fucking opinions, because then you go, oh, well, if people act like it's a crime to like Genshin Impact, like I'm not even allowed to like things that I like, what's so wrong with it? Bro, yes, I loved Genshin. I was not like, that's the thing about it, is people think that like I've just been a hater and that I only hate it because I'm like associated with Tectone and that's like my thing. I fucking loved Genshin. I have a shit ton of merch even now still fucking around my house. Spent about 7K, a roundabout. I have body pillows. I have a sweater. I have a Kazuha sweater. I have so much shit. I still have a fucking sexy Hu Tao mouse pad somewhere in my house. I loved Genshin. It was not like, I was not somebody who like kind of played it and then like gave it up and now I hate it, or like I never really played it and I just hate it. I loved that game. And that's why I really don't fucking like it now. Because when I play it again and I go to the newest region, because I can skip through, which I do again, I think that was a great QOL. being able to skip to the new region, and I'm like, man, maybe I'll finally like feel that feeling I had about the game again. It's been 2 years since I've actually really tried it. I've never been to a lot of the new regions. Let's do it. Let's get into it. And it's the same game that I quit. That's why I'm upset. And ultimately, I've been trying to be like nice about it. And I'm still treated with the same amount of vitriol as if I was losing my shit like right now. So let's lose my fucking shit. It is the same game that I quit 2 years ago. And that is why I'm mad. And I think anyone who feels that way has every right to feel that way. The reality is that if you like Genshin, Natlin wasn't going to change anything. You're still going to like Genshin because you just like the slop. And that's okay. You're allowed. If you were somebody who likes Genshin but only comes back to it every so often, Natlin's going to be exciting for you because there's a bunch to do. And that's okay. And if you don't like Genshin, Natlin's going to change fuck all because you don't like Genshin and it's still just more Genshin. It's Genshin with a little red and orange coat of paint and some Dynadors, but it's still goddamn fucking Genshin. It didn't change anything. And that's also okay. But it's weird as how people want to defend this shit. It's a game. It is a mobile gacha game. To a certain extent, I can understand defending like great games, you know? I understand why people want to tussle for Elden Ring, want to tussle for something like Undertale. Tussle for something that like meant something to them and like made them change them as a person. Like you know, like I understand why you want to tussle for some games. But Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero, you want to tussle for this? For gacha? For games quite literally designed top to bottom to take as much money for you with as little effort, to get you addicted to gambling and in parasocial relationships with characters, that's what you're gonna tussle for? I'm sorry, I have more important things. And so it's not even the defense of Genshin. I'm more than happy to hear defense of Genshin that is like coherent. I can have a conversation, but people don't want to have a conversation. They just want to say, oh, L-Take, no, it's good, and you're just a hater. You're just a negative bitch. Okay, back at you. Is that the energy you want to give? That's the energy you're going to receive. But then you don't get to cry and go, wait, I'm not allowed to like the thing that I like. No, that's the energy you gave. That's the energy you got. You attract what you put out into the world. And that, again, goes for Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, every other fucking thing, and every other game. Not even just gacha. You put out that energy, that's the energy you get. But when I try to be fucking normal and having it, like, talk about things about how I feel and be fucking calm, that doesn't get through to anybody, and I get treated the same as if I'm fucking crashing out like right now. And so, yeah, I'll crash out because it's more entertaining, and at least I'm being fully fucking honest about how I feel. Genshin Impact does not respect its players. Genshin Impact has never respected its players. Genshin Impact infinitely respects the Honkai Star Rail and Zenless Zone Zero players more. And that is abundantly clear because they put quality of life changes into the games at release that they either don't put in or fuck up in Genshin. They will hand you a 5-course meal from one game and then shit in your hand with another. And you want to like pretend like it's good? What are all the shit things that I like? I like plenty of shit things. I like reality television. That's shit. I'm allowed to like Honey Pop. I'm allowed to like Among Us. Among Us is slop. It's so fun though. I love Among Us. I'm a huge Among Us fan. I like Otome games. I don't even talk about that very often. Like, I know you guys know I like Love in Deep Space. There's a period of time where I played nothing on this stream but Placid Plastic Duck Simulator. Love that game too. It's trash though. Garbage. Not even really a game. I like games to goon. I like games that mean something. I like a lot of shit. Just like you probably like a lot of shit. But like, me not liking Genshin ends up meaning something about me as a person. Somebody not liking the game that you like ends up meaning something about who they are as a human being to you. That's f***ing weird. I like Twilight. I like the Twilight movies and I like the Twilight books. That shit is hot ass. Poop from a butt. I like Sword Art Online. That shit is garbage. You're allowed to like things that are garbage as long as you understand that they're garbage. I understand that Twilight's garbage. I understand why Sword Art Online is garbage, but I still like it. And I'm not gonna say that like, oh, if somebody goes, oh, well, I think Sword Art Online is complete dog shit. I'm not gonna go, okay, well, you're like a negative bad person and I don't like you. I'm tired of the f***ing mentality around gacha games. And I want to say this again because I know what's going to happen in the comment section. This applies to every single gacha game to some extent. Most, like, maybe not some of the smaller ones, but for the most part, every single gacha game, especially the major ones. And also a lot of games outside of gacha. But I'm sick of being blamed for like this like hateful attitude when like literally you can't even have the most softball criticisms of shit without people losing their f***ing minds. The quality of life in Natlin is ass. I think if you like Genshin Impact, you will like Natlin. I think the aesthetic of Natlin is actually pretty cute. I think some of the characters are all right. They're fine. They're good. I don't think that I don't really like the way Genshin characters are designed anymore. I'm a much bigger fan of Zenless Zone Zero's and Wuthering Waves' designs, but maybe that's because I'm a bit of a gooner. And we'll be honest, Zenless Zone Zero and Wuthering Waves give a lot more goon material than Genshin Impact. A lot of Genshin Impact characters have really big fucking heads for some reason. I don't know why. Actually, all of them do. They have huge fucking foreheads, and it's just not giving sexy. But like, there's benefits to Genshin. I understand the charm of Genshin. I didn't pay $7,000 and play it daily, like hardcore for like an entire year because I don't understand it. But like, please stop making it your entire fucking personality where you feel like you have to defend it like this. If you disagree with any of my points, I highly encourage you to disagree with them critically and intelligently with an actual counterpoint, or else probably I'm gonna hide you from my fucking channel. If you're gonna come in here and just comment, oh, you're just such a hater, you're so nasty and negative, I'll hide you from my fucking channel. Don't come in here saying, oh, this is all you ever do. No, I'll hide you from my fucking channel, because that's not all I do. It's not even the only thing I do that's successful. Done a lot of like other content recently. It's been a lot of fun. That's what I have to say about the Genshin shit. I try to do it in like a nice, polite, respectful way that I thought wouldn't piss people off. And you know what I realized is I took a piss and I realized people are going to get equally as upset if I say it nicely than if I say it this way. At least this way, I said what I fucking meant. Was I overly mad? Yeah, I got upset mostly at myself. I'm gonna be honest. I hope this resonated with somebody. I don't fucking know. Bababooey, these nuts. Your mother. Go piss. Don't hold your pee. See you later. Bye. 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 Bye.